live. It is April the 1st, and we are not participating in April Fool's Day, guys, because there's too much cool stuff going on today. So that voice, which I was using for a toy dinosaur with my kids yesterday, is probably the most you're going to get. And that's the news, folks! All right, I'm going to introduce everybody. We're going to do a little housekeeping, and then our Week in Hero Clicks belongs to our brand new guest, and you're going to get her in a second. But I'm joined this week by Mr. Tom Kerr.
Cheers, everyone. Happy April Fool's Day, and this is the last we'll hear of it because, all jokes aside, we really aren't doing anything April Fool's Day today.
There's some. I honestly, what we're going to be talking about, I thought was an April Fool's joke, and I was happy to find out it was not. We're also joined by Jay.
I hate April Fool's Day, so none of that nonsense over here.
Jay is the reason we are being boring today.
No, you said no April Fool's shenanigans.
And we're also joined by Emily.
Hi.
Welcome to the show, Emily. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
All right, so a little bit of housekeeping. Hope you guys all enjoyed the unboxing this past week. I apologize for my failure to properly review Superwoman. That was my 5th take of that video, and I just said, yeah, Superwoman, this is her powers, this is what they do. Didn't even look at the dial, didn't even review the character. My bad. But next week, myself and the Metal Lab guys are going to try to go figure by figure, assuming we have all the figures out. Because this is pre-release week. So this is the week that pre-releases are occurring. It's also the week the States start. So it's a very busy week in HeroClix. Just stuff that we're going to do, not stuff that we are doing or have done. Which incidentally curbs into the next part, where this week in HeroClix is going to be very Emily-filled because myself, Tom, and Jay were very boring this week. So, Emily, something exciting happened to you this weekend. What happened?
Right, I did a thing. So I've been practicing a little bit on Roll20. I've done practice with Tom and with Jay, and I did some with Sam this week. I did some with Devin last week. I've been getting myself really, really comfortable on Roll20, and I noticed that there was a online qualifier posted for Saturday, and I didn't have to work, so I decided to join in on it. There were 15 people signed up, and I just happened to win the thing. So
suddenly win.
Yep.
That's how we all win on this show.
Right? I've been playing some really fun Vulture Prime tech. So my team is centered around him. I've got him supported with Lockjaw, Unseen, the Rose, which always throws everybody off of why do I have the Rose there. 2 big Tonys, Octopus Arms, the 4-point Symbiotes, 4 ID cards. I have both Cyclopses, super rare on both, Tidal Harley, and Bounty Wolverine. And I had the Pym Pocket Tank on there. It was slightly different than the team that I played the previous week at the WKOs. And I like the team enough that I'm going to keep it for States, but I'm doing another little tweak that I'm going to try this week when we practice on Wednesday. But I'm going to keep that quiet to keep that one secret so that I have a little tweak for going to States. So.
I'm going to keep secret the change of a 3-point ID character. Everything's going to be the same.
Yes.
And that's 3
for my
points
first round opponent.
Make it all.
It is. So my first round opponent was Brad. He was playing a monsters team with the double Giganto Namor with the mini couple of Groots, Carnage. He moved up a little bit. I sidestepped up, got my equipping done. Then he moved up again, attempted his Quakes, missed them all. That's okay. He sidestepped with Mini. The only person he could ping with was Unseen. And then it went right to my turn, and I pretty much wiped out his whole team in that one turn. I used Unseen with the Invincible on one of the Gigantos. I had perplexed up. I'd called out Harley, which is a typical thing I do, to use the double perplex. And I got to a 14-4 on my Vulture. And he had carried a Walking Wood with him. So I made my first target the Walking Wood. He didn't get the shape change, so that built up my first charge. Second attack I put on the Giganto, which put him to stop click with the Outwitted Invincible. And then, so I had my 1 charge flurry built up. I finished off the Giganto Namor with the next attack, and then put the second attack with the flurry into the other whale. So then I had 1 charge built up.
Yep.
Then I used it to start going towards his back row, because he had like sort of sidestepped people. I had like a whole chain of people that I could get right back. So he only got shape changed on 1 of his Walking Woods. And so I had got the 2 Walking Woods, building up 2 more charges, got to his Groot, Carnage, building up more. And then I had enough charges built up that I could actually charge, break a wall, charge again to get back to where the mini was.
Nice.
Yeah, it was. And then I got 3 hits off on his mini. So I KO'd him the first time, got him back to his last click, and that was as far as I could get on that turn. So he had 1 Walking Wood left and mini on last click.
Wow.
He called something out. I can't even remember what it was. He ended up getting, between the call out and the mini pinging, he got my Unseen. He got 1 of the big Tonys. So at this point now, it's on my turn. I have Lockjaw's double token. Unseen is double token. My only person that can see his mini in stealth is the 1 big Tony I have left that sidesteps over. I pick Prob with Lockjaw, so I have 2 Probs between Rose and the Lockjaw, and I need a 10 with Big Tony to kill his mini, and I hit it on the second one. All he had left was the Walking Wood, so 0-point pog. So yeah.
Dear Whiz kids,
game
Tony.
2.
Right.
Yep. Big Tony for the win.
Nice.
So my second round was against Nate. He's playing a really, really funky Grandmaster team.
Oh, so cool.
It's so neat. It's Grandmaster, a whole bunch of Floras, a couple of Skyscraper Wonder Womans, a couple of Groots, a Star Fox. I think he had some equipment. He picks the Iceberg Lounge. I lost map every single time. So he puts us on the Iceberg Lounge, and I know that he's totally going to Mangog me. I know what's going to happen. So he gets his Star Fox equipped. I think he sidesteps a little, and then that's all he really does on the first turn. I get my stuff equipped. He steals my symbiote with 1of the puffins. But I still get my octopus arms. I still get my octopus arms, which is fine. He calls out Jean Grey, flings Grandmaster forward, has the Puffin, makes the Puffin and Vulture attack each other. I'm trying to remember what happened with the Mangog. I want to say he missed the attack because of the Unseen and my probs, because I remember still being pretty healthy.
Alive.
Hurt. Yeah.
I have not
all died yet, so.
Yeah, it was pretty healthy. But but because he was by my starting area, he did promote to the 150 mark.
Wow, more points.
Yeah. This one's pretty crazy for points. He had also moved Wonder Woman and Groot up along with the Grandmaster, so I had my Vulture. I can't even remember what I perplexed him to, but he was perplexed up between Big Tony's and the Harley, and I have Unseen out with the shape change on the Walking Wood so that I know that I'm going to get 1 off. I kill the Walking Wood and the Skyscraper Wonder Woman, giving me 2. I think I had 4 damage because I one-shotted the Grandmaster. So literally I went from Wonder Woman to Grandmaster. I had no other target for my second attack. Got back to his back row, got through all the Floras, all the retaliation. And then I just kind of kept Vulture back so that he was away from the rest of the team. And he ended up getting 96 points. At one point, he had a crit miss. He called in trouble alert. In that first Vulture sweep, I had killed the Jean Grey call-in. I had killed the Flash. I had killed, I ended up with over 500 points by the end of it.
Right.
It was pretty insane.
That's...
So now I'm 2-0. I'm facing Lucas in round 3. He's playing a Sam Cap clone Shredder team, so I'm very familiar with that from my previous teams. He wins map, which means he's going to get his alpha off before me. He comes up with Sam. He had WizKid on the team, Surtur, a Mangog, a Carnage. That was his core team with some ID cards. So he makes the overdrive. He comes up. He perplexes down Lockjaw's defense. Sam calls in Harley. He energy explodes my team. He rolls a 7, which hits everybody. I prob it with Unseen. He rolls a 6, hitting everybody except Vulture. So Vulture gets to stay top. Thank God. So now he's got my Lockjaw and my Unseen double token, so I'm not able to call in Harley on my turn. I had forgotten who he called in. I thought he had called in Chamber in my head, so I had actually messaged him this afternoon and said, "Who is your call-in?" And then so he literally remembered the first turn, and he's like, "Okay, so I called in Harley, and I did this," and then his last word was, "and then I just prayed," because he knew what was coming.
Nice.
So I used the big Tonys to perplex the attack, because he had sidestepped with Shredder to ping Vulture, so Vulture's just at the 10 attack instead of 11. So I used Big Tony's both perplexes into attack, knowing that my 3 damage would be enough with 2 hits on the flurry to get a Sam. So I outwitted her reflexes. I flew Vulture into the center of WizKid, Overdrive, the charged up, and Sam. And I start with the charged up to get the first flurry, kill Overdrive with the second flurry, so now I've got 2 charges built up. I use one of the flurries on WizKid. I need to use both attacks on him because of his toughness, building me up another one. Then I am able to take Sam out with another one, 2 hits of 3. So I had half of his team gone. He had just the Retaliators in the back, which I couldn't quite get to. And I had Clone left. Now, I didn't realize at the time that he didn't have the Shark on it. I probably would have stayed and dealt with Clone if I realized the Shark wasn't there. And but that's okay. That's okay. So Lucas ended up being my only loss. He managed with pings and stuff to get through the Lockjaw and Unseen easier than any of my other opponents. I was able to take out his Surtur, but missed all my attacks against his Mangog, and he had my team by the time I could get back. So my only loss was to Lucas. Good job on the Alpha Strike. It was whoever was going to kind of get through it first. So at least I got half his team, and with all the extra points from Nate, it was like I had still won 3 matches almost, point-wise. Round 4 was against Hunter, who goes by Brett as well. Brett Hunter Man. He was playing a Shredder, the Foot Elite guys. I think he had 5 of them with 2 charged ups or overdrives. He had a Jessica Jones, a Karen Page, and a Skeets with them, and a Groot. So that was his team with it. Yikes. He made his 2 charged ups and piloted them. Instead of sidestepping forward, he sidestepped back, thinking that I was going to come after him the first round, not realizing I was going to take that turn to equip. So he was a little bit further back, which was fine with me. I had sidestepped a little, and then with my 4th action, I moved Leslie Evans up. I had actually remembered I had one this game, but then it ended up being the thing that he was, because Leslie Evans was furthest up. It happened to be within the range of getting Jessica up to take away my stealth. So if I had forgotten about Leslie like I usually do and kept him back, he wouldn't have been able to see through my stealth at Unseen, but who was kind of body blocking. So he is able to get one of the group of the foot elites up with the skeets. He can see my unseen. He chooses unseen as the target. I happen to get every single super sense roll on every single one of his attacks.
Hey.
Thanks.
So if I didn't hit any of those, or I'd missed some of those, it would have been a different game. But I ended up literally chewing through his entire team in the one turn, taking out 14 pieces, all 14 pieces in the one turn, and we were over in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops.
Whew.
Yeah. It was insane.
Because you had a bad day.
Yeah.
But we were laughing. We were having fun. Like,
I'm sure you were.
They were in, my opponents were in amazement at just how fast I could just chew through their team. Like, I just happened to be facing teams that had tons of little things with a 14 attack, and I didn't even really need probs all that much, because with flurries on single things that are going to die, it's crazy. So they cut the top 4, and I had to reface Nate in top 4, his Grandmaster team. So this time he plays a little bit different. He knows that if he brings people up, that I'm going to chew through his team. So he keeps all of his Colossals and the Walking Woods and everything like back. He even takes an action with Grandmaster after like moving, like keeping everybody just back, so I don't have a ladder to get back to him. So he brings up a puffin, steals my symbiote again with one of them, and he body blocks my octopus arms with the other one. So I move my unseen to the one puffin that I think he's going to Grandmaster me with, so that unseen has a 0 attack when he's going to get me, and I, not even thinking, I use the rose to shoot the other ones so that I can still TK the octopus arms. So the rose is now the target of the... I mean, at least he has shape change. I didn't get the shape change, but at least he has shape change. So he ended up still being able to Mangog me, and he still ended up being able to promote. I just kind of sidestepped up Vulture, carrying Lockjaw, Big Tony's, and just kind of sidestepped up. And it just took me a couple of turns, but then I was able to TK and get to his back row and chew through it again. And yeah, I ended up getting... I didn't get the Mangog this time. Time was called before, but I still had about 300 points and before it was over.
How did he body block the Doc Ock arms? Because the Puffin's tiny, right? So you could have TK'd over him. Or was he using a seal and got a perplex on him somehow? I'm curious because I do it all the time, and so I'm...
No, it was he was standing in front of it. You can still see an object behind somebody tiny? Doesn't a body block it?
I don't think when it's tiny, no. Jay? Rules Jay.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why the tiny would block line of fire. That's a weird... That's like a question that I should know the answer to, but that's so weird that it gives me...
It's also a question I should know the answer to, because I played the crap out of the Iceberg Lounge, but I just always assumed you could look over them, so I never even tried.
I'll look it up. Let Emily go on.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that, because we
I'd like
thought
to know the answer.
that it was blocking it and then I couldn't see it, so I shot him. So
yeah, that's cool. It's a good interaction. This is why you tune in to the Meta Lab, to get Jay to answer your questions. Anyway.
The rulebook just says smaller characters do not block line of fire, so I guess, yeah.
They don't block line of... just period? That's the end of the
sentence. That's what it says.
Smaller characters. So if you're taller than the small, then it's not going to block line of fire to what you're trying to see past it.
That's so weird.
Does that also mean that tiny blocks tiny to another tiny?
No, you can see over the tiny.
Even if you're tiny?
Oh, no. Like tiny to tiny to tiny, that would block. Yeah, it would block.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Lockjaw could look over the puffin and still.
Yeah, it's not similar to how elevated works. Like you see over.
Good
Interesting.
To know.
Okay, so I could have just TK'd and I would have prevented Grandmaster. Okay,
that's you know what that was? We have a name for that on this show. It's the Wisdom of Solomon. All right.
We've never called it that. Never. We never use those phrases unless in reference to Shazam.
Yeah, Jason's never complimented me. So.
Anyway, carry on with the story, Emily. Sorry to interrupt.
All right. So top 2, I'm facing Joe, and I'm just like, I'm shaking. I can't believe that I'm actually in top 2. I'm just so excited to even have, like, it's a qualifier. I know I've got the box LE, the map, the whatever. So I'm just like, this is just awesome. So Joe's playing a Hawkeye Avenger team, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna get this first alpha off. But I don't know why he did this. He chose to call out Cyclops and shoot my symbiote, and didn't equip Hawkeye turn 1. So I had sidestepped up. He put us on a mock time. I had sidestepped up, kind of putting people behind that 4 square blocking, just so that if he's going to come after me, he's going to have to overextend and really get to the side to be able to see me. Yep. I didn't realize that he didn't equip. I just, in my head, okay, you equip Hawkeye turn 1. So, but he had taken that action to call out Cyclops for Cyclops to shoot my symbiote. So my having sidestepped up gave me the ability to, with the TK, the sidestep, Harley's perplex, Big Tony's perplex, he had sidestepped up with the giant girl and carried Eric to 1 step closer. So he was like in row 5, I think. So I was able to, with the TK and perplexes, to actually get to his Eric. So I TK'd up, called out Harley, I TK'd up, sidestepped with Vulture, rolled to see if I got a second sidestep. If I got a second sidestep, I didn't need to use TK and movement, or the Harley's perplex and movement. I would have been able to use it in attack. So I did get my second sidestep. So I was able to be a 14 attack, 4 damage after the Big Tonys, and I got to his Eric. I killed his Eric. I didn't have a valid second target for the flurry, so I just started along his giant girls, and he was another 1 turn kill. I got his whole team in that 1 turn between all of the flurries. I had even crit missed 2 or 3 times, so my stats got lower as I got through the dial, but I had so many charges built up that the crit misses didn't even matter. I had actually crit missed a couple times against Nate as well, back to back. 2 crit misses, but I still had more charge flurries built up that the crit misses didn't matter. Like, it was insane. And yeah, within 2 turns, I had 1 shot his whole team.
Crazy.
Awesome. I've never heard of an OTK in this game before, but apparently it's a thing.
So Emily has officially, guys, in Magic the Gathering, we have a deck. It's called Storm. Look it up. Emily created it in HeroClix.
Nice. That's awesome. Congratulations.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
I love her description of her games. It's like, and by this turn, I had killed half of his team with this 50 point. Hey guys, remember what we said about the Vulture?
Yeah. There you go. On a non-theme team, no less.
Yeah.
So it's not even.
Yeah, because Magia.
Not even like you're living on map or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Yep. I didn't get any flunkies the whole time. I rolled 0 leaderships. Like.
Well, I mean, ideally, you usually have to get to turn 3 before you. So all your games are over on turn 2. Then.
I was gonna say, do you know what turn 3 looks like, Emily, right now?
Exactly.
Only against Nate. Nate got far enough to have a couple of turns.
Statistically speaking, your leadership's going to work 1 in 3 times. So if you never see a turn 3, then it's a crapshoot.
I think the most terrifying thing is Emily told me she was going to New York, and then she told me about this team. I am seriously reconsidering the scientist team right now. Like, it would just get liquefied by this.
What I like so much is I like to imagine it's the end of turn 2. You've killed 90%, or it's like top turn 3. 90% of your opposing team is gone. They've got like a couple figures left. You roll leadership, you don't get flunkies. You're like, damn it! They're getting all moody about it. Their entire team's dead, and you're like, where are my flunkies? And it's like, gosh darn it, just finish me off. I want to.
Where are your flunkies? Where's my team?
Exactly.
Also, if you are doing that lookup for Storm, I apologize for some of the nasty comments you're about to read.
People don't like it.
Oh no! Oh no! They do not like it.
That's not what the people are in for. All right, fair enough.
I should probably preface that because this is a long-standing problem in the game of Magic. That People are not fans of its existence. But honestly, Emily, congrats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your teams are savage sometimes.
Mhm. Yes, yeah.
I can't wait to see what the tweak does.
Yeah, it's a whole new meta, it's a whole new world, and you're still crossing the entire map and attacking on turn 2. So, some things never change.
Ever since Emily gave up on Sunspot or Sunfire, it's just been like, Emily, why are you in my starting area? Get out. We just started.
Hey, it's better that than here's my Unimind Lockjaw team. Yawn.
Yeah, we are.
Ooh.
Like, I didn't
fired?
have to face
Not
any.
really.
I didn't face any tent poles. It was all like little guy teams, which is what my team loves.
True.
I think this is one of those things about the Rock online tournaments is they are limited in numbers. So, if depending on the number of people and the players that do show up, there will be a certain limitation. Like sometimes it will be the type of player who has a one-man army type deal, or it'll be a bunch of guys who play teams that the Vulture just goes do through. And that's kind of the side effect of the smaller environment that they can contain in those tournaments. So, but that said, I'm pretty sure based on the sounds of it, you can probably do a good number on a team like that.
Yep.
So I wouldn't sweat it too much there.
Well, I did. Well, because Jay missed some of those rollouts. If he had got those rollouts, he would have had me at that WKO. But I did beat that 250 Black Panther with missing
that did happen.
rollouts.
That did
So I have
happen.
a chance. I have a shot.
Oh,
There
yeah.
you go. Oh man. Oh, I love this game. I love this game so much.
Pretty
Speaking
awesome.
of which, it's time to get into our news section of things, because this is a big topic today. So originally, this was going to be a very boring day, and then some news came up, and I initially discounted it as an April Fool's joke, because Jay sent me an image of one of the figures that they previewed today. Spoiler alert, there's figures ahead. And I thought that was an April Fool's joke. Then he showed me the link. I was like, no, this is an April Fool's. Oh my god, this is the best thing in the world. So, without further ado, let's get rid of my face. Go to the preview monitor. Nope. I want to do this one. Here, there we go. I'm going to go full screen on this one so you don't have to see all that other stuff. Nationals and Worlds Championship update is here. Now, this updates us on the U.S. Nationals and gives us a vague idea that they're not quite sure about Worlds right now. Allow me to explain. I'm going to read it out for you guys so we're all on the same page. So, WizKids is pleased to announce their plans for the upcoming 2019 WizKids National Championships and 2019 WizKids Worlds Championships. This year, there will be numerous national championships around the globe where players can win limited edition prizes, purchase convention-exclusive figures, and qualify for the 2019 WizKids Worlds Championships to be held sometime between September and the end of December later this year. Pay attention to that point. We'll talk about it in a second. Players can prepare for some of the biggest WizKids gaming events of the year by attending WizKids Open Regional Championships and earning a national championship qualification in HeroClix, competing at various Rock events and earning WKO points, as well as competing at last chance qualifiers prior to their national championship event. More details on specific dates and locations of upcoming championships will be added soon, so keep a lookout for more information on the WizKids Info Network. For all players that qualify for the U.S. Nationals, WizKids will be hosting the U.S. National Championships at Origins Game Fair, June 12th to the 16th, 2019 in Columbus, Ohio. WizKids is thrilled to announce the 2019 convention exclusives and for sale con exclusives to be available in the U.S. National Championships below. Okay, so the list is here, along with some other stuff. Let's kind of get to the meat of this, and then we will go through all the figures. So, we know Origins Games Fair is going to have Nationals. I think that's like the least surprising piece of news here, right?
I think we pretty much already knew that. I think they were just reiterating.
Yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere. They have such a good rapport with Origins Games Fair. It's wonderful. But there's a big gap between the 2 months that we have announced for Worlds. Like, between September and the end of December. Which, you know, to a degree signifies the fact that we might not be getting a PAX Unplugged again. Which, you know, begs the question, where are we going to have it? And I started thinking about the date span in which we're looking at. This brings us to the possibility of Gen Con. I hope not, because that convention is a mess. It's not for the fact that it's disorganized or anything like that. It is crowded. It is packed. It is not a good game environment for competitive play.
Gen Con is August, and they already said what they're doing at that event, so don't worry about that.
Fair enough. When is Dragon Con this year? Because that's another one that's also very crowded these days. It's getting bigger and bigger with the cosplay community. And then from there, we have to ask, what other conventions are there for World Championships, and where do we have to travel? So it begs that question: is it going to be part of a convention too, or is WizKids going to just finally decide this is it? We're just going to have a World Championship in a building, and it's going to cost us like a third of what it's costing us for the convention exclusive thing. The unfortunate fact is that they lose a lot of the advertising marketing that you get as a result of being in a convention center. Or the walk-ins by Ember Moon that Jay won't tell you about. Amber's never going to forgive you for that, by the way.
I was facing away from that area, so you
Amber's
leave
still
me
angry.
alone.
Doesn't matter.
I know. She'll always be angry at me. I know. Don't worry.
Anyway, so those are all, of course, the concerns that come to mind, but also stay calm, because WizKids will tell us. They always come through. We're more interested in finding out when the heck Canadian Nationals is, of course, because we would like to plan for that and know what kind of weather to prepare for. So we can prepare you guys as well. Because some of you folks from the States like to come up here and do that thing where you beat us all the time. In fact, you know what? Just tell Canadians. We'll just put it in French. Darn Google Translate. All right. Is it time to give up on this? It's time to start talking figures? Have I been boring enough? All right. So the first of the con exclusives is actually a two-part figure that is coming as a purchasable figure. And this is the Batmobile. And there's another one in a second that I'll show you. So this is the Batman side of it, as it were. This has the Batman family, Gotham City, Justice League, and vehicle keywords. Alfred, send the car to pick me up. Autopilot. Adjacent friendly standard characters with the Batman family keyword can be given a free action instead of a power action to become this vehicle's pilot. The pilot ability, Earl has her tuned up real nice. Prerequisite, Batman family keyword, willpower. And then it's got special movement power in the first 3 clicks, ejector seat, charge, running shot, but only if Batmobile has a pilot. When it uses running shot, after resolutions, you may place its pilot adjacent to the target of that attack. That's kind of cool. I like the imagery of that. Bing! Throwing a Batman at him. And then camouflage mode, which is the damage power on all the clicks of the 50-point version of this dial. When Batman has no action, Batmobile, sorry, has no action tokens, lines of fire drawn to it, and adjacent friendly characters are hindered. It's got the Batman team ability. It's got 2 passengers possible to be carried. It comes in at 150 points, 100 points, or 50 points. And we're looking at 3 different. So at 125, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So about 12 clicks at 150, 9 clicks at 100, and about 6 clicks at 50 points. Tom, how do you feel about the first version of the Batmobile?
Well, quick clarification with our Wisdom of Solomon. Lines of fire are hindered. Does that allow you to get stealth from the Batman enemy, or is that a different thing?
I mean, yeah, your line of fire will be hindered. So that's yeah, it's basically like auto stealth. And I don't actually know if that means that you can ignore those hindered lines of fire.
That's what I'm wondering, because if you...
I remember a similar power...
That's where I was going with it, yeah.
I think, what was it, the Mysterio from Superior Foes, who has the Klutz effects, says that lines of fire are just hindered. I don't even think you can stealth bust that. Off the top of my head, I could be very much wrong. I don't know.
If so, that's really
very
cool.
much been overhauled since that one figure, so don't quote me.
As for what I think of the figure, I have a hard time knowing if, as, or when I would really play the 150 or 100 point versions of it. You really don't seem to get very much for the extra points, in my opinion. 50 points is so easily taken here, especially when there's no stop clicks, there's no defenses above toughness, and you don't even have the cool stealth effect unless you're at the 50 point dial. So, I mean, you get normal stealth, but that's a huge base to try to get into stealth. So I have a hard time buying into this at anything other than 50 points. At 50 points, though, I do like it. I really like the free action get back into the car. Like, I love the idea of being able to take an action with the vehicle to pop somebody out. They then take an action to attack somebody and then take a free action to pop back in again. Obviously, that only works with Batman family keyword, but we're getting increasing numbers of ways of using keyword shenanigans in the game. And even keyword shenanigans notwithstanding, there are some good Batman family pieces. So this is, to me, it's a bit of a remains to be seen, because if you're playing at 50 points, I think it's mostly there as dial extension and protection. And as that goes, I mean, 6 clicks is fine, but a starting 16 defense is unremarkable. So I think it's cool, and it'll be cool to see if you can make it work. But if you can't really take full advantage of that free action pop back in effect, I think it's probably a pass for me. I like it though; it looks cool. What am I missing?
Jay?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, you cut out. I don't see a world where the 100's ever really relevant because you are paying a lot of points for not much return. 50, yeah, just the fact that you can kind of creep up, sidestepping whatever, while maintaining hindered whatever is good. And it's only 50. I want the 150 to be relevant because there's so much going on that it feels like you can't really, like, there's, oh my god, there's so many tricks. Like, the free action piloting is incredibly relevant for so many reasons. Obvious ones, like, you know, being able to, like, running shot with the car, pop them out, they do something, and then pop back in. Or, like, auto-poofing. Like, yeah, actually, even at just 50 points, like, you can call an ID card, and no matter what square they're in, you can auto-poof with a pilot, no matter what.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Or the running shot, they jump out, like Tom said, that sort of thing. Or the theoretical, like, this is never actually going to happen, but like turn one, have the pilot pick up an equipment that has a attack or damage power because you can take those when you're a pilot. So the fact that you can do that turn one and start getting really good powers, although I feel like you're probably piloting with like Batgirl to begin with, and she has prob anyway because like you want to just get her. Yeah, like the fact like you could like theoretically running shot, chuck her out at an enemy, have her do a charge for free, do a call-in, and then jump back in the vehicle if you've managed to position it properly. That has potential. 50 maybe 100. 150 is expensive, especially in this environment where damage output and stats are really high. Like, I feel like if anything, 50 is most likely, but even then, I don't even know if it is. But there is definitely potential with what the Batmobile is bringing.
All right, and Emily, what are your thoughts?
I also really like the 50 points. I was looking at that mostly, and I was gonna, you know, of course, the free piloting. But one of the things that that I didn't hear mentioned before was also the other prerequisite, giving it willpower as well. Because I know when I was playing the Thanos copter, the top dial ones without the willpower clicks were hurting because I was losing the running shot quickly. So I really like that I see that this one, with the prerequisite, gives you willpower as well.
All right, I'm going to pause all things because we got a super chat.
Okay, cool.
It's been a while since we got this.
Yeah.
All right, and it came from Chris Talkhouse, who had some technical difficulties with it, but he was wonderful and sent it to me on Facebook. So his question, he went 4-0 in the Swiss at the Columbus Regional this weekend. He was playing the Beta Ray Bill, Unseen Pip, Groot, and 2 Flora with the Wakanda map bonus, Venom Symbiote, and IDs. He lost to a Wolverine Swarm, beat 2 Hawkeye builds, which was the whole point of the team. He figured bringing back some old meta stuff might work, and it did well for me. Trying to figure out tweaks to help against close combat matchups when I lose map. Any suggestions? Thanks. Love you guys. All right, it was a lot to take in there all at once.
Yeah, that's very fast to give suggestions on.
So I'm gonna do this again. So it's Beta Ray Bill, Unseen, Pip, Groot, 2 Flora Colossals with the Wakanda map bonus. He's got a symbiote, and he's got some ID cards on the side as well. And he wants to know how to improve his close combat matchup because, as he mentioned, he lost to a Wolverine Swarm. I'm guessing in the top cut. So Emily, something like this, what does he need to add to have a problem against your team?
Barrier is that the key to things these days is barrier to
on an indoor map,
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, barrier. Yep, barrier will.
Barrier
will in here. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like a theme team. Wait, is Beta Ray Bill Cosmic?
Isn't it Cosmic?
It is Cosmic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to find a way. There's Cosmic Barrier. Who am I kidding? Cosmic Barrier is definitely a thing.
I mean, Infinity. I don't think Infinity's that good, but she does have it.
Fair.
It could be hard. Like, well, I'm trying
to
think.
There's a barrier inspiration off of Iceman.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
I mean, I would assume that the idea of Pip is to carry the Walking Woods forward, right? Like, isn't that what Pip's there for, or is he there for something else that I'm missing? Anyone?
I don't see anything else weird with Pip.
Because that's another thing, as far as close combat is concerned, is maybe you don't want to have your walking woods going away from everyone else. They're your plasticity pieces, and they can body block a bit. And it, like, dropping Pip and one or two of the Flora Colosses would drop your map bonus, but it would give you room for something else in that point range. I'm not sure what's good. Trelane always comes to mind, since it gives you that extra little measure of control. I'm trying to think of other things that are 50 points or less in Cosmic. I mean, obviously there's the Thanos Copter, the aforementioned Thanos Copter, but then you're kind of, it's defeating the purpose of why you're not being able to be shot if you've got Beta Ray Bill getting into that. I don't know. I think that's the first thing I would look at. And I'm sure he has. Like, that's the thing about Chris. I appreciate the question, but he's a smart enough player that I'm sure he's already looked at these things. But that is the first thing I think is, if Pip really is there to be your taxi for your walking woods to get them into somebody's face and try to do some damage without committing the rest of your team, maybe there's an opportunity to switch that out for something else where you're still getting the team kind of moving up slowly, but blocking off the Hawkeye and using those points elsewhere. That's my thought.
All right. And Jay, anything you want to add?
Besides barrier, ID card options. I mean, he doesn't. I guess this depends if he wins map or not. But like, it's only even if you pick another map, you're only essentially giving up 5 points for Wakanda. So if there's a map that somehow serves you better, probably just do that.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the matchup. If you even win map, I don't know. But that's basically best thing I can think of.
You could also do the whole just like intimidation thing of like dropping a Pip, putting on a Mangog, and getting some other things, and just moving up and saying, "Go ahead and attack me," out of fear of Mangog. A lot of people just won't attack anything except the Mangog when they see one.
Fair point. All right, so yeah, those are kind of the ideas. So there's a lot of ideas to take what you got and just play it harder or differently. I mean, play it in a way that you think will work a little bit more ideally, or add a Mangog, or adjust your ID cards. There's a lot of flexibility, it looks like, in your team where you can do some of the other stuff, and here's hoping that it can work. All right.
The tank for formation disrupting could also be good.
Oh yeah, because a lot of those close combat focused teams are really bubbled together. Or there's Emily's team where the close combat guy is actually at the other end of the board by the time you get there.
He's like, I have a 9 range prob. I'm good. See you guys later.
See ya. Guys, you wait here. I'm going to go kill their team. You just, whatever, man.
Just keep living. Just keep living.
Yeah.
You could also body block with a Thanos Copter. It occurs to me that you don't actually have to be Beta Ray Bill inside the Copter. You could put somebody else in that, have it carrying Beta Ray Bill up and just being in the way. I mean, it will likely give up points, but the hope is that it will take so much carving to get to those points that your rest of your team can finish it off. I don't know. There's a lot you could do with that team. I really like it.
Yeah. All right. Back to the Batmobile. Thank you, Chris, for the super chat. It's much appreciated. I think we were done on the base Batmobile, right?
Yeah.
Jay, okay, cool.
Unless you had anything to add.
I had nothing to add. You guys killed it. Did a good job. Next up.
I would add, or I guess this would go for the other Batmobile too, but the adding passengers onto the main card where it's easily seeable is very good because it's otherwise not easy to do. So that's a thing now. Mm-hmm. So good job.
Yeah.
Good point.
Speaking of, let's talk controlled Batmobile. So this looks like a Batmobile that's been stolen.
Batman Returns, baby.
Because we have Gotham City Underworld, Arkham Asylum, and vehicle keywords. Batman, what are you doing? Did Jason Todd get the vehicle again?
No, the episode reference is Penguin finds the mechanic who services the Batmobile and basically makes him install technology so he can remote control it.
So it's a lot like Batman Returns then.
I have now actually seen Batman Returns, so your word is as good as
good.
He's so young.
It's real good
when it came out.
Carry on.
All right. When I'm done, you'll be Flatman and Ribbon. Ram. When controlled Batmobile uses the Ram ability, it may change direction once. Pilot ability. No, you idiots, it's me. Prerequisite, Batman enemy team ability. Other friendly characters with the Batman enemy team ability modify attack +1. And then it's got a special attack power on the first 3 and last 6 clicks, depending on points. It's the first 3 of 125, or it's all 6 clicks of 50. What's this button do? Free, roll a d6. Controlled Batmobile can use the resulting effect until your next turn. On a 1, immediately place a pilot in an adjacent square of an opponent's choice. That character can't become this vehicle's pilot this turn. On a roll of 2, range combat expert. On a roll of 3, close combat expert. On a roll of 4, smoke cloud as free, the best way to use smoke cloud. On a 5, quake. And on a 6, pulse wave. That seems okay. And it's got reminder rules for RAM, all your vehicle reminder rules. He's got the Batman enemy team ability, and it's got 2 passengers. Jay, what do you think of the controlled Batmobile?
I want you to go to Tom first so you can make a Flatman reference, but okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
You made the reference.
I think the 50 is the winner here again, because the stats are pretty fine, I guess, but you're probably upping them. But the global increase your whole team as long as they have Batman enemy +1 is good. RAM getting to reposition is especially good with sidesteps. You essentially have like a 3-pronged RAM, and the Prince damage is 3, so that's pretty good. So I don't know what more you want for RAM until we get to that other character. And
RAM.
The problem with the special attack power is that it's so random, and the fact that this one doesn't have autopilot, it's kind of risky to do it, because if you roll the 1, that just kind of screws you up unless you have a backup pilot, which is so... Yeah, and like the options are so specific. Like close combat expert, you kind of have to position for. Like it's almost not worth it unless it's just you happen to have the contingency pilot planned, and you have whatever options. You have other options. You can do other stuff with it, and it's more like, oh, I'm already winning, sort of thing. Let me see if I can get a pulse wave too, just for extra goodness, sort of thing. But otherwise, dial length is fine for 50 points, I think. Shape change is good. It's tough enough. Speed's good. And Batman enemy to get better attack values is good, because the attack values could be better, but that's the whole point. So, yeah, I theoretically like this one, although probably less than the other one overall.
And to save some next, because I forgot to mention earlier, it comes at 125, 75, or 50. It is, as well as the original Batmobile, or the first Batmobile we were talking about, either 12, 9, or 6 clicks of health at those point values, respectively. Emily, your thoughts on the controlled Batmobile?
I love that it's got shape change. I love shape change. And you know what? I like the special attack power. I think it looks really fun, and I want to play this one. I like this one better than the other one.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I just think it looks fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom?
I don't have a lot to add. I mean, Jay said in passing the biggest thing for me, which is the lack of autopilot. That's the only real reason that I'm turned off of this one as compared to the other, is that once my pilot's been knocked out by me rolling badly on the attack power or whatever, then it can't do its own thing anymore. So and for that matter, I like autopilot vehicles a lot more than I like ones you're forced to pilot. It's fine. It looks fun. It looks fun only, I think. I look forward to playing it, but I don't suspect I'll be playing the wheels off it when it counts.
Yeah, me as well. I'm not playing this at super competitive events unless I find something stupid that I've done with it, or I find some kind of Batman enemy team that really, really makes functional use of that +1 attack. Otherwise, this is just like my local venue sort of thing. Local venue. All right, next up, this one I was excited for. It is the Mammoth Ghost Rider.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's a thing. It's
whatever order we're going in here, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of messed up the order to play around with things. But this is your Million BC Ghost Rider for your Million BC Avengers. So I think the only thing we're missing is the Hulk from that. And I don't even think it's really like the Hulk. It's just a big monster dude.
Well, there's also the Phoenix. There was like 6 or 7. There's the Phoenix Force. We had 3. There's like 1 or 2 more. And the Panther. I think it's like bad, but like as a Panther or something weird.
Yeah, it was some kind of comic with like cavemen Avengers. It's where Agamotto and
and
Iron Fist come from originally.
I guess that sounds cool.
Yeah. I mean, it just means they didn't like blow everything that they had in the initial chase set, which gives them some room to be creative, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's talk about it.
Let's indeed. It's a big card because it's a big dude. It's got the Mystics team ability because he's a Ghost Rider. Avengers, Animal, Brute, Mystical, and Past keywords. Colossal Retaliation traded. Mammoth of Vengeance. Power. If no friendly character has been placed this turn, choose an opposing character that KO'd a friendly character since your last turn and occupies the same row or column as Ghost Rider. Place Ghost Rider in any 4 squares in the same rows or columns that contain both all of Ghost Rider and the chosen character. Make a close attack targeting all characters occupying the rows or columns between Ghost Rider, where Ghost Rider began. This action and its current square, regardless of adjacency. Hit characters are each dealt 2 penetrating damage instead of normal damage. So basically, it's like a straight line retaliation that requires a KO.
I think it's literally the same as War Wheel.
Yeah, exactly, except for the KO part.
And then before Vengeance is the second trait. Opposing characters within 3 squares can't use Pulse Wave and deal normal damage instead of penetrating damage. And then it's Ancient Incarnation Ghost Rider. A lot of the Million BC Avengers have this kind of thing. When another friendly character named Ghost Rider hits, after resolutions, remove an action token from Ghost Rider. So when another character named Ghost Rider hits, remove an action token from this Ghost Rider. When another friendly character named Ghost Rider is hit, after resolutions, deal the attacker 1 penetrating damage. This is Indomitable. It is Colossal. It comes in at 300, 200, or 100. Emily, what do you think of the giant Heffalump?
I think I'm going to be the odd one out and say that this one doesn't excite me.
Good Lord, it's a giant flaming mammoth.
I'm sorry.
What on earth could excite you if not that?
I know. I mean, the we just lost Jason. I think I killed him. I'm sorry.
This was Emily's last appearance on our show, guys.
Oh.
I don't know. The Colossal Retaliation for me, it's very situational. It's got to be lined up and positioned, and it's a power action. And I don't know. It just, for me, it didn't excite me. And I know that you guys were so excited for it. So I'll let you guys share your excitement.
All right. I'm going to kind of skip the usual fare, and I'm going to say this. Here's what excited me about it. It's an elephant with fur that is on fire. It is huge, and that's what I was excited about. I don't care if this was good or not. This was just like neat. Thank you. But I also kind of like this retaliation on teams that I like to play, which usually involve Pogs. The problem is that at minimum I have to spend 100 points for a 6-click dial with Invulnerable and Mystics, which means I am somehow got to make sure I can rely on the ability to stop their Pulse Wave and penetrating damage. And that's very hard with this character. So as far as a competitive view, yeah, I'm not playing this guy on any of my competitive teams. But he's an elephant on fire being ridden by Ghost Rider. This is my love of this character. Tom?
Yeah, I agree. It's the sculpt is the only thing, and I think this might be the most excited I've ever been in HeroClix history for a sculpt. Now that's actually not extremely high praise because I'm not that into sculpts really, but for this one I got really excited. But no, I don't think I'll ever really want to play the characters besides for fun. Honestly, for 300 points, it could be pretty fun in the most casual of casual tournaments. I wish that it had some outwit protection to go with that reduction of penetrating damage and pulse wave proof, so as to really get the most out of those clicks. Because without it, he's just going to get carved through like a roast. He's already on fire like one. I guess when I cook a roast anyway. Yeah, no, I don't think he's terribly playable unless I'm missing something. Jay will tell me if I'm missing something.
Jay's got the one. Jay's the final he's just not going to mince words.
Oh, this is unplayable, unfortunately.
See?
Yeah.
See, he doesn't mince words.
I mean, it is 100 points or 6 clicks that you can easily penetrate. It's just it's an amazing sculpt, and it's cool that it exists. But not everything has to be competitive, and
yeah.
I don't know what this sort of character was going to do. Yeah, what was this sort of character going to do that is competitive besides be undercosted or have a random silver bullet effect that it doesn't make any sense? You know,
Well, I mean,
fine.
to be fair, it could have had a 15-point line. With that Colossal Retaliation being as specific as it is, a 15-point line that was nothing but sidestep, taxiing, and the possibility of an unlikely retaliation, or at least Mystics if you take it out, would have been fine. But not as is, I'm afraid.
Even then, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess a Mystics Retaliator is inherently good because the Mystics isn't bad like it is normally. So, yeah, I can see it in that case. But as is, unfortunately, it's... I don't want to say never, but it's as close to never as it gets, like, unfortunately.
That's
Super
the real
casual,
reason
though.
I walked away, Emily, is you didn't cite excitement for the model.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not a comic booky person. Like, that doesn't...
It doesn't even have to like comics. It's an elephant on fire.
yeah, I didn't know it existed, and I was still like, holy mother of Christ, it's a flaming mammoth. All I want in my life.
And its real name is Ghost. Because
And like it
cavemen.
doesn't even make sense. Like it just looks like it's in pain. It's so weird, and I love it so much.
It's neither of them know what they're doing right now.
No, like the opposite of what a mammoth is good for is being on fire. It's supposed to be in the cold. That's why it's got all the fur.
All right.
Should have just been one of those the Flintstone cars that you just have to pedal.
It's a living. All right. Next up, Doop.
Oh.
Doop. There it is. All right.
Ah.
Doop has the X-Force, X-Men, X-Statics, and Animal keywords. Where's my Alyosha Craven reprint now?
Right.
Doop, he has a trait, Easy Rider with a tiger. Ram, see inside, it's got the Ram ability. When Doop uses it, instead of dealing Doop's printed damage value, roll a d6 for each hit character and deal them damage equal to the results. It's kind of like the tiger going, heh, heh. Special attack power on his last 2 clicks. I think he's upset about Sugar Mama. Penetrating Psychic Blast with a range value of 8. Free. This turn, replace Doop's attack value with the printed speed value of an opposing character within 8 squares. And his special defense power on his last 2 clicks. Done. Reach the end of the line. Stop. When this power is first revealed, generate a tiger bystander. And then, of course, the tiger. 8 movement with charge, 10 attack with Blade's Claws, 16 defense with toughness. Tom, Doop, the Easy Rider.
He's incredible. Of course, you know, because I'm no fun by nature, the very first thing I look at is all the ID shenanigans. He's a perfect 60 points. Look how hard it is to KO him. You've got to deal him 6 damage just to get him to the first stop click. And then he's got another one. Not to mention when he goes there, he generates another attacker. And yeah, he's at an 18D on that stop click. But you got to get through 2 of them in order to KO him. So like, this is a hard 60 points to score, and in the meantime, he's just out there easy riding, calling in 60 point. That's a perfect point cost to call in ID cards. So that's my first thought with him. Admittedly, he also seems to be awfully fun, just play the way he's designed to be, which is roaring through people. Like Ram with Blades, Claws, Fangs is crazy good, and his attack values are super solid. But I love the fact that even if you're not doing that, he's still awfully good for your team. And he's got an awful lot of good keywords to build with. And well, I guess not a ton, but X-Men's valid, and I'm always looking at Animal. So yeah, I think he's got a lot of potential.
All right, Jay?
Okay, well, I'm glad Tom said that he likes the dial, because I was afraid I was having bias stuff, because...
No.
I mean, how can you go wrong with Doop? How can you go wrong with... It looks like something out of Saints Row 3. Like, he's driving around the tiger.
Actually...
That's a reference I don't get, so...
Oh, dude, Saints Row
There's
is like
literally a
everything
game
Grand
where you
Theft
have to
Auto
drive
could have
around.
been if they stopped and went like... They went this, we're going to be serious route, but there's this other route that Saints Row went that was so off the wall.
Yeah, in the 4th one, you're literally a superhero. It's nutty. But yeah, I have a personal attachment to the Tiger Pogs from way back, and they actually have the same stats. Like, I don't know.
Oh, do they?
They do have the same stats.
Consistent Tiger
that's
statting.
cute.
That's beautiful. So I can bring out my old World's Finest tokens. Yes!
Yeah, so... Yeah, but it is worth noting that you can only make one of them, which is a problem, because I'm going to have to get through 25 of them before I get to use my whole collection, because, of course, these are the Tigers that came with the Wizard, who I have a great affinity for. But yeah, so goes on animal teams with Lockjaw. Post rotation goes on the Blackbird teams again, and Emily and I were already starting to build again with the Blackbird. The synergy with Professor X is really good to line your opponents up how you want them for the Ram. It's also having a 60-point X-Men is super relevant because now you can include Jean and not worry that you will lose. The only way to get her in is a real boy, essentially. So,
and let us
and also for what it's worth, Doop is standard size again, so you can start equipping stuff. I don't know what you would really want to equip on this dial.
I would equip a symbiote. I just again, because I'm thinking of him basically sitting out there calling in ID cards. And considering that the cheapest keyworded piece in the game shares a keyword with him, then there's a lot of ID cards you would load onto that.
We were just talking about that. Oh, God, yeah.
That's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, this and 19 tribbles will never lose map roll and will have a zillion ID cards.
If you're playing, it's a weird one, but this is actually the situation where it matters if you're playing Rock or WizKids because Flashpoint Blood is not legal in WizKids. So if you're playing a hypothetical states in 6 months from now, like this guy in Lockjaw and King Shark and enough tribbles to fill up your team and whatever, that's going to be rough.
Or possibly just Lockjaw this guy 100,000 tribbles for map bonus and a million ID cards.
Although he doesn't ignore anything, or he doesn't ignore hindering.
I'm so glad I invested in tribbles.
Did you? Did someone? I've been wondering because I want to build.
I think I have 11 of them at this point.
Oh, that's good news.
What it comes down to with Doop is that he's really hard to kill. You never want to deal with him. If you're close enough to be dealing with him, he's starting to ram blades you essentially.
Yeah.
And even on his attack values are just good. And also, just the fact that even on a stop click on an X-Men team, he's going to replace his attack value back up to, let's say, an 11. So, once you start with all the perplexes, he can easily be, 13-6 on an X-Men team. Once post-rotation, I mean, this guy only essentially becomes legal post-rotation. So, yeah, X-Men did not need the help. And this guy does a lot of stuff for an X-Men team that was otherwise not really happening.
Nothing says that he can't heal off those stop clicks either, right? Oh man, that's good. I wish he had the X-Men ability, but
choice. Yeah. But yeah, oh my god, giving
Hell Cow
the poison shape changing to this guy.
Hell Cow's on a time limit, probably won't share a meta with him.
Sorry, what?
Oh yeah, you're right. Hell Cow's on the way out.
It's they're not going to share any time.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Oh.
Sadness.
Emily, I know we've all talked about Doop and the Tiger
riding
motorcycles.
I like this one.
Yeah, man.
I like this one. I'm going to play this one. And you know what my first thought was? Imagine when you hit those last 2 clicks, if you're facing a Flash with 14 movement.
Yeah. Hey, Flash, nice movement.
I want a 14 attack.
Yeah, that was my thought too. You're playing in a Golden Age event against the Flashes. Yeah. Actually, that would be great for a Bizarro. That'd be great for a Bizarro event. Somebody else plays the Flashes and you play this, and then you start the back dial with a 20 attack.
Oh man, yeah. I'm gonna share. I already love Doop as a character. He's just so weird and obscure, and I love him for it. And this adds to my love of Doop. And this is a great figure. And I can't believe it's only 60 points. We're not talking Joker level for, oh my god, it's 60 points. But this is...
Yeah, but I'm also so glad that it is 60 points. Yeah. If it was 55 points, I wouldn't be as excited.
Yeah. So, overall, good job. Have they ever let us down with a Doop?
No, I was about to say, he's on that short list that people talk about sometime of, always been good characters.
Yeah, I even saw our Pat one with him on a Blackbird team. Right after, that was starting to be a thing. So even, we've never had a bad Doop.
Doing the Doop. All right. Next up, Lobo, the main man. Lobo's got the Justice League. I got to read comics more. What happened? Justice League International, Suicide Squad, Assassin, Brute, and Cosmic. What happened in comics when I was sleeping? Sick'em Dog is his trait. Lobo starts the game with dog attached when Lobo clears exactly 1 action token, or when dog hits an opposing character with an attack, heal Lobo 1 click. Free, place an attached dog adjacent or attach an adjacent dog. I'm just going to say dog that weird way. I apologize for this. Last click has a special defense power, banned from both the good place. Banned from both the good place and the bad place. Stop. Toughness. Lobo takes no damage from attacks unless the attack roll is 7. Attack rolls targeting Lobo can't be re-rolled. He comes in at either 200 or 125 points. He flies. He is indomitable. He has 4 range. Dog has 3 movement with sidestep, blades, claws, and 19 defense with impervious. Jay, what do you think of the main man Lobo?
I feel like this would be good if it had outwit protection. Is that fair? Like, I feel like the dial is so long, so much damage potential. Like, you can hypersonic up 12 movement. Oh my! I almost swore on the show. I mean, it's so good. Like, this is a monster of a piece. It's just that, I guess it's just not really. In addition to the outwit thing, it's just not undercosted enough to be competitive at the full points, and then at the lower points, just doesn't really do enough for those points. Like, I feel like it's one of those pieces that's kind of inherently not competitive unless it is super undercosted, because it's just like a bruiser piece essentially. So, but those are some ridiculous stats to have to deal with. And then if you play him with a Trelane on Cosmic Theme, that is going to be really hard to deal with at the end of the game there.
He's on a stop click. Yeah, good luck with that.
Right.
You know what? I'm going to make this one a critical hit. Not a 7. Emily?
I like it. I do wish it was a little bit cheaper, but I mean, the little pog, it reminds me of my missing Teakle, and I'm like, I want it back. Except this one has a 19 defense with impervious. I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
I think I like it. I think I want to maybe try something with it, but I do wish it was a little bit cheaper. But I like them.
Fair enough. Tom?
I just think it's so obnoxious that he can heal off his stop click through his own trait. Like, you hit that stop click, and then if you don't hit a 7, he just clears and goes off the stop click. I'm like, oh man, that's obnoxious. That alone, I think, makes him playable. I mean, the only real problem is, of course, that I don't think that, again, Jay said it so well, I don't know that I could add much to it. He's just a big bruiser, and there's lots of ways to stay away from a big bruiser. So, if anything, I'm inclined to play him on a point denial team, because I think he is pretty point denial-y, and just hope that you can get the damage done over the court. Like, play him at 200 and just do your never bring out the dog, and always try to hit that last click. If they don't roll the 7 that they need, just heal off of it and just watch your opponents pull their hair out, and try to score more than the equivalent points on your opponent's force. I think there's potential there, but it's another one of these pieces that, like, if it starts to take off and get good, I'm gonna hate it real fast, because that's just nasty.
I thought you would have fond memories of Outback Hulk because of that special power.
He does remind me of Outback Hulk. It's true, but and like, I guess, should we do the math on that? What are the odds of it? Is it 1 in 6 or?
It's the highest number. It's the highest likely number to roll, I thought.
Right, and how many?
It's a 56% chance to roll a 7 exactly.
No, it's not.
That's a 7 or higher. That's a 7 or higher. Sorry, it's
it's
no, hold on.
3s and 4s. It is, yeah. It's 6 out of 36, so it's 1 in 6.
Yeah, 1 in 6.
So it's basically the same odds as rolling a single d6 and looking for a 6.
Yeah.
So if that power was written as, super senses that can't be outwitted or like protected, yada yada yada, succeeds on a 1 through 5. That's what you're basically looking at there.
So he's basically absorbing man.
He's not wrong.
Sure.
Huh. I guess Tom is going to whip out Green Arrow again. What a surprise.
I'm just doing the math in my head to see whether my own math is right. There might be more than that. Anyway, carry on. I'll think about it.
It's pretty quick to Google it itself. All right. But yeah, it's big dumb dummy, and I also noticed as well.
It's 6.
It was not an accident that those first clicks on both dials are lacking the prob that he really wants. That's a sad state of affairs. All right, next up, Magneto with the Phoenix. This is the Phoenix 5. Magneto. This is from a What If comic.
It's a band.
So hey, guys, when you're making What If the set, this was the guy you wanted in that set. But Magneto comes with the Phoenix Force, X-Men, Cosmic, and Ruler keywords. He's got his Phoenix 5 trait. Well, we're kind of reincarnating that, as it were. Magneto has Protected, Incapacitate, Mind Control, and Opposing Telekinesis. When Magneto is KO'd, all friendly characters with the Phoenix Force keyword modify their combat values by +1 this game. Protected, Pulse Wave. He's got special attack power on early clicks of all versions of the dial. I am Fire and Life Incarnate. Psychic Blast, Pulse Wave, Telekinesis. Knockback. When Magneto damages one or more opposing characters with an attack, after resolutions, heal him and each adjacent friendly character 1 click. He's got a special defense power on his last click, the end of all things. Stop. When Magneto is KO'd, after resolutions, deal 3 damage to all characters within range and line of fire, including friendly ones. He's 8 range, 2 targets, X-Men team ability, power cosmic, 250, 200, or 125 points are his point values. I believe we start with Emily on this one.
We do.
Is this our new Magneto Colin for for big point guys?
Yeah, for your big point guys.
All slave with knockback, you know, our Black Canary back. Just higher points.
Yeah. She costs a little bit more, but she's back.
Just a little bit, just a little bit. But there's enough people playing big one-man army things that are definitely going to be able to call this thing in. Yeah, that's my first thought.
Yeah. All right, Tom?
I like the fact that like he can stand next to friendly characters, pulse wave with them in the radius, and then if he hits somebody, they all get it back, right? Like I like that's cool, and that seems to be the functionality because it's very. I don't know too many people who are able to call a 200-point character in unless they're playing a Lobo team, and otherwise you probably are going to be in the radius of that pulse wave because it's pretty hard to get away from his 4 radius pulse wave when he's only got sidestep to get away from it. I don't particularly care for it personally. I love the fact that if you play him at low points and you're not able to get away from the rest of your force, then an enterprising opponent will just knock him onto his last click, KO him, and then like blast all your own friendlies. Yeah, I don't love it. He looks cool. That's neat.
All right, Jay?
Apparently WizKids has convinced me to play a casual tent pole over 200 points. But yeah, I mean, this guy, it's a good thing they made him purchasable because this is basically... for the competitive mandatory, got to get 2 of them because he has 2 ID options. So
really, you think he's that good an ID, Colin?
I mean, 250 Panther loves him. So
okay, yeah, fair.
Yeah, basically, what they're doing is they're building the Panther team for us. Like you have to play like you play 250 Panther, you give him shape change, you add a thing that we're going to talk about soon. You add the Storm bounty, you add this bounty. Yeah, apparently Black Panther with the Gauntlet needs a Phoenix Force users for Pulse Wave, and he has that wit on top of it. Like what? Like did he really need? Did he need that wit on top of all that? Like this is basically like I feel like top 5 Collins of all time at this point or close to it. Like wow.
Yeah, this is where what I'm seeing and what I think Jay is trying to say is as far as high point Collins because we've kind of been steeped in this world of 50-point Collins, and there's nothing wrong with that. But now we kind of enter the option of being able to call in 125 point plus with some kind of ease. And I believe there is a bounty and an actual headmaster ID for this guy. So
sure is.
2 possible uses of this guy, and he doesn't look like he's unique, which means both could be run in an ideal world. Not an ideal world, in the real world.
Yes.
And Penetrating Psychic Blast with knockback is also good, in addition to Set Pulse. Like, at first look at Pulse Wave, it's great. Yes, Pulse Wave. But also Psychic Blast with knockback goes a long way as well in the right kind of situation.
And healing. Like, he's like the Wolverine and the Cyclops ID cards wrapped together.
Yeah. So, I'm...
And for what it's worth, the inspiration on the bounty is really, really good, which is it's Psychic Blast. So
it's Pensai, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the regular one is TK, which is probably not useful in this sort of team, but like you never know.
But I've had options in the case of in my scientist team. I could use this Magneto at 125 points to back up my early game Iron Man if things get a little too tight in my back row, right?
Yeah. Well, the TK is useful. Like you can also use it to poof them. So
yeah, absolutely. So overall, I see where Jay is coming from. Strictly as an ID guy. And this is going to be a casual play, kind of cool to see somebody whip up their old Phoenix Force and play alongside him as well. Just, that's a stupid casual level. Oh my god game.
Yeah.
What I like to call the boss raids we used to have at my place. All right. Entering. Is this still viable? No, we're entering. I don't know where we are. Is this a winnable?
That is, the
Rayner,
winnables are the Kyle, Rayner, Lilandra, and something else.
Yes, the one I have on screen. I'm sorry, Kyle Rayner is the next thing we're covering. He's got the Omega Men and Cosmic keywords. He's got a special trait, the power of all lanterns. During Force construction, Kyle Rayner gains all keywords with lantern in their name, plus Star Sapphire, Indigo Tribe, and Sinestro Core. Reluctant Omega Lantern is his second trait. Exploit weakness, penetrating psychic blast. When Kyle Rayner hits, after resolutions, if no hit character was KO'd, heal him 1 click. If one or more standard characters was KO'd, instead deal him 1 unavoidable damage. He's got his last click, life, stop, regeneration, heals 1 less than normal because of stop. I like that they're adding some of these reminder text things that are good to have without needing to whip out the rulebook every time. Or at least, for people who might forget these sorts of things. And then Love and Compassion is a special damage power on 3 of his later clicks. Shape Change, Support, and the Mystics team ability. He comes in at 170 quintessence. I feel like no, it was 190 before. Never mind, I'm going to shut up. 7 range.
No, it was 170.
Was it 170 for Kyle Rayner?
Yeah, that's the nod for sure.
Cool.
No, the old one was 180.
I thought it
it
was
was?
190.
We're all drunk.
Am I adding the mandatory 10-point thing?
In your head, probably.
Considering he starts with shape change, I just assumed that was a nod at the decoy. I thought he was 170 plus things, but I could be drunk.
180 plus things. So yes, I was doing the thing where I was adding the 10 points for the barrier thing, or right off the bat.
Yeah, drunk.
But yeah, so Tom, what do you think of Kyle Rayner?
He's fine. That's a lot of points, and it's a lot of figure for a lot of points. I don't think I have much to say beyond that. I mean, he seems like he probably costs 170 points.
Yeah. Jay?
This is a perfectly serviceable casual tent pole that can go on literally any Lantern team and Cosmics. It seems fun. You can't go wrong with Traded Psychic Blast in a casual environment.
No.
And he's really hard to put down. Even if you hit him for really hard, you hit him for 6, he's still 19 Shape Change and Mystics with a stop click still to go. So he's, as far as competitive, it's just, you're not playing this for essentially 5 points more than Unimind. It's never happening in any world. Sorry.
Right.
Emily?
Yeah, it's fun for, I think, a big point game where he's not going to be KOing a bunch of little pieces and hurting himself for it. But it'll be fun against some bigger pieces that he'll get to heal from instead.
All right. Next up, you know me, I don't like these tentpole things.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Lilandra, Imperial Guard, Shi'ar, Starjammers, X-Men, and Ruler keywords. Universal Psychic Link is her first trait. At the beginning of the game, choose another friendly character. When Lilandra and the chosen character are within 8 squares and either character takes damage from an attack, after resolutions, you may heal the character that took damage 1 click and deal the other character 1 unavoidable damage, protected pulse wave. Assassination of an Empress is her second trait. When Lilandra is KO'd by an opponent's attack, you may choose another character with the Shi'ar keyword. This game, that character modifies his combat values by +1, can use leadership, protected pulse wave again. And then Save Lilandra is on her first 4 clicks at 100 points and first 2 at 75. It looks like those lines are kind of stuck in there.
Yeah, that's where they are.
Yep. Leadership, Perplex, but only to target friendly characters. When Lilandra uses Perplex, the target has any of the keywords listed below until your next turn. Also modify each of the corresponding combat values by +1. X-Men speed, Shi'ar attack, Imperial Guard defense, Starjammers damage. So it's like Perplex with a little bit of extra that you don't have to consider. Gives a little bit of boost to the Wolverines, as it were. So playable at 100 or 75. Tom, what do you think of the Empress of the Shi'ar?
I think we're Jay.
Oh, Jay. Sorry, Jay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If her stats were a little bit better on the top, and then she was giving herself essentially +1s from her own perplex, as it doesn't say other character or whatever, and she applies for all the things. So she perplexes herself. It's +1 everything but range on top of the perplex. So it's just another one of those dials that like it doesn't do anything in particular that is competitive. Like I don't see it, unfortunately. Like the traits are neat, but also what are you playing along with this figure that's Shi'ar to get the pluses? Like another Lilandra? Like that's not, I don't know. Like I guess there's some Shi'ar with her and
Silver Sable.
Silver Sable, Eternity. What was the name of the con? The one that gave the enhance and all that stuff. Whatever that one was. Husar? Or whatever was pretty decent, but like I just like you really need to play this on specific.
Wait, if you played her with Eternity, would he get like all the bonuses when she dies?
Yeah, all the bonuses.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, this is not a dial that does anything that is relevant in the competitive environment, basically.
Well, she wouldn't get the bonuses. The attorney wouldn't get the bonuses when she dies. She'd get the
perplex. Right,
so sorry. I perplex one stat +2 and +1 to everything else.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
All right, Emily.
She doesn't excite me. Yeah, she's just. I don't know. I don't have much to say.
All right, Tom.
I don't have much to add. She doesn't excite me either. The only thing I would say is the very first thing that I don't know very much about Lilandra besides being relatively bored whenever she would show up in the comics. But the only thing I know about her is the whole Universal Psychic Link, and like it's the very first trait, Universal Psychic Link, and then it's like when she's within 8 squares. Like it's a universal psychic link. You couldn't just make it anywhere on the map. You had to make it within 8 squares. Like, you got friggin' who's got 9 range? They can
Unseen.
Great. Unseen can see farther than her universal psychic link. It's a joke. It's not like it's that powerful. Just make it the whole board. That's a pet peeve, but it's a pet peeve.
I hear you. I'm wondering if they tested something and they found like some weird combination that was like, this might be a little too powerful. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe something we don't see yet.
That's PJ. He'll figure it out.
All right. Next up, we're still in the figures because there's a bunch of other stuff that we're going to carry on later on. Wrapping up the bombshells, I think. No, we're pretty close to wrapping up. There's more bombshells. Who am I kidding? Raven! Bombshell version. Bombshells, monster, and mystical keyword. Die Tochter des Doof is the I butchered that and I don't care.
Yes.
Is her purchasable 20-point trait. The first time this game, Raven would be KO'd. Instead, turn her to click number 11, Protected Pulse Wave. That's 20 points, so she starts at 50 or she's 70. She's 70 and she turns this monster last click that you guys can see on the thing. She's a bombshell, which means she's got the bombshell trait, which reads, when Raven makes an attack targeting an opposing character, give her a bombshell token free. If she has 2 bombshell tokens, remove 2 bombshell tokens. Or she has 2 action tokens, remove 2 bombshell tokens. She may make a close attack. She's got special movement power, whisked away on the winds of magic. Phasing teleport, passenger 4. Raven may carry characters with the bombshell keyword regardless of flight movement symbol. Free. If Raven moved this turn, you may remove a bombshell token to heal all adjacent friendly characters with the bombshell keyword 1 click. Characters healed this way can use stealth until your next turn. And then her special damage power on that 1 click, if you pay the extra 20 points, is Trigon Reborn, Battle Fury, Colossal, Quintessence. Yeah, 50 points with the Mystics team ability. We are on to Emily for this one. What do you think of the Bombshell Raven?
I think she's good for a fun little bombshell team. She's your taxi. She'll get you in there, and I'd pay those extra 20 points in a fun game to have her go to that last big quintessent click to do all the damage. But yeah, she'd be fun for a bombshell team.
All right, Tom.
I think she's a pretty good taxi. We're losing a lot of our best multi-taxis. When I think of how often I play like Green Oracle and stuff, admittedly, Green Oracle can carry more people, but I love 18 defend and prob and stealth on my taxi and mystics so that you don't want to attack her. So I think that, honestly, I think I'd play her more often on a mystical or monster swarmish team that required a big taxi at 50 points than... it's 20 points for the extra click is fine, but I think in most competitive environments, if anyone knows it's there, they'll be ready to take her out when she hits it. So I would probably be conservative with her, but hey, I like defend prob on my taxi.
All right, Jay?
probably definitely more playable than the other new Raven on a monster team because, if I recall correctly, that other Raven had to carry based on keywords. So she couldn't carry like Walking Woods on a monster team. Whereas this one just has passenger 4 period, like no restrictions. Let me just double check. Yeah, passenger 3, but only to carry characters. Yeah, so this one's just better, except for like the Teen Titans teams. But yeah, Monster Mystical, 18 defender on Walking Woods seems really, really good. Never paying the 20 points in competitive because like I don't know. I just feel like that's just asking for it to be dealt with way too easily, and along with the fact that won't increase the points for IDs. Although I guess she's good enough in that regard. But yeah, Mystical keyword is good. Monster is good. Bombshells is like kind of fringy, but that Black Canary is really good. So who knows if Bombshell's eventually playable? But yeah, I could definitely see myself running this at competitive for sure.
As a guy who has played the Bombshells team in fun tournaments, she's definitely going to add to the fun factor on that team. It's a huge thing. Jay's not wrong. Her carry on the monster is a little bit of a bonus, and at 15 points less than the other Raven, she's not restricted to just carrying my Dr. Frankenstein's in my personal version of it. So I like her in that factor. But yeah, I think she fits more in the monster mystical realm as a competitive figure, but also adds so much, like the Bombshells. There's a little bit of crazy that you can play with them because you want to double token all of them and get those extra free attacks, and then she can carry a bunch of them in who might be double tokened, get the heal, so they're all going to be on like top click maybe once they've pushed and got like a two bombshell tokens on each of them. And then just imagine that you carry a bunch of dudes, a bunch of ladies, sorry, because they're all bombshells, and then free action punches from all of them. That could go a long way. So not bad, I think. All right, next up, I'm entering the Mandarin ring territory. Welcome back, guys, and I hope I love that they're wearable. I love this. The Mandarin rings are my favorite items ever. They're all different names from the originals, and they all have similar but different functions to a certain degree. This one is the Daemonic Ring. It's a light object. Its effect, it's indestructible. It's equip any, unequip KO. So if you would unequip it, it's gone. When this character attacks a single character and hits, its effect is ignore hindering for line of fire on the character who's using it. When this character attacks a single character and hits, after resolutions, the hit character modifies its attack and defense by -1 until your next turn. Equipped character may be equipped with a second object if it's also a Mandarin ring. As you see, they got the brackets underneath. We've already got the one from the WKOs, which adds to the awesomeness of it. So we just did Emily on Raven. So Tom on the Daemonic Mandarin ring.
Yeah, it looks like googly eyes. It's cute. It's funny because it feels like it's designed to counter another one of the Mandarin objects, because I wasn't thinking that stealth was that common until another object came out. Other than that, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing it. It's fine. I think it's outclassed by a lot of the other Mandarin rings.
All right. Jay?
Yeah, basically it comes down to the problem with this for playability is that you're not playing another equipment, and you're only trying to counter essentially other equipment objects at that point. And the fact that there's so many pulse wave cons now that it just feels like I can solve this problem with other methods. I don't necessarily need the ring to get ignores hindering, along with the fact that like the absolute best character that would want to use this already has improved targeting hindering, which is Unimind. So like I just don't. It's not that I don't see, like, I kind of see the point. Like, obviously, we never know what could come out, but it just, I don't see this seeing play over other equipment, because honestly, the equipment now feels better than older resources at the time. But
all right, Emily,
I could see it as being a potential option for one of your rings, especially because you get to use 2 of them. Yeah, I do. I mean, I love objects. So for me, all these rings are much more exciting than a lot of the figures.
I do like the imagery of picking up another guy's ring and smashing it over his head for some reason. But also, sometimes you'll come in that one situation, that one time you've built a team, and it's like the only thing that can stop this team is stealth. There we go. Now we have that option to deal with it. So that's that would be the main thing I would see with the demonic ring, to be brutally honest. All right. Next up, incandescence. Once again, I think they're all indestructible. Equip any, unequipped KO'd. So I'll stop reading that part out. This one, very similar in function to the one of the same shape from previous Mandarin rings. This one's effect is energy explosion. When this character uses it, damage dealt is penetrating. Jay, what do you think of the incandescence ring?
Definitely could be useful. I don't immediately think of anything to use it in particular, but I mean, energy explosion deals with swarms, and post rotation, when the Hawkeye goes, there's going to be all your swarms again. So I can definitely see some theoretically potential. And if not, just like something to give those kind of players pause at least, especially because there's also really good energy explosion call-ins with like Harley and whatever. So, you know, the more energy explosion access we have, the better.
All right. Emily?
I like the penetrating aspect of it because the 2 damage on people with invuln and impervious, it's a lot of times useless to even hit them. So the fact that this one's penetrating, I like it.
Mm-hmm. Tom?
Yeah, I don't have a lot to add. It's also fine. At least now my energy explosion will kill Mangog. That's the only thing I can think of.
Hey, how about that? That's kind of important.
Yeah.
I like the imagery of shooting at something and then watching the walking woods burn up next to them. All right, next up, the Nightbringer Mandarin ring. Also, once again, very functional. I think this was the Blacklight ring in the previous version.
Yep.
Stealth and Smoke Cloud. Smoke Cloud as free, but only to generate 2 markers. Yeah, this is almost exactly the same as the previous one. Emily, what do you think of the Nightbringer?
I love that you can create your own smoke for free with it to bring around with you. Yeah, no, this is a good one.
All right. Tom?
Yeah, man. Stealth and generate your own hindering. Come on.
Jay?
Like, this guy, honestly, I don't understand. Like, they buffed this guy like 3 times today. Like, I don't get why they want this guy to be like the best. But
well,
yeah,
I mean, you could just pulse wave it.
Aha! And the fact that you were already giving him another ring. I mean, I don't like. Is the double ring thing playable outside of like gimmicks or like specific? Like people, I've heard people talking about that Coulson who can like kind of let you do it, but I feel like it's too expensive and gimmicky. Like, who's taking that many actions to equip all these objects?
I don't know. I feel like Black Panther might be because it's a don't die to begin with. So what does it matter if he's just sitting there doing it?
Yeah, he definitely has the time. You just need to adjust the build to get a second side tip or whatever to give it to him or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely possible. I just think for pretty much everything but Black Panther, that's never really happening.
I also see the potential of offensive smoke clouds because -1 attack is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, and you're still and you're generating 2, so you're still protecting yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I think if I was to say specifically, it's slightly less OP than the original one, but still very strong as a ring itself.
Oh yeah.
Because the last one was like, I think you like couldn't draw a line of fire if it was specifically in the smoke cloud that it made or something ridiculous like that. It was stupid.
It was like you gave out stealth to whoever was in the smoke, and then if opposing characters within the smoke, they like had something where they couldn't draw lines of fire. It was crazy.
Oh yeah, it gave other characters stealth. That was like
yeah.
Big, oh my gosh about it. All right, next up the spectral ring, formerly disintegration beam.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I recognize that one anywhere. The one that makes my attacks 10. All right, so its effect, precision strike. When this character attacks a single character and hits, you may choose that the attack deals 1 damage instead of normal damage. If you do, after resolutions, roll a d6. On a 4 to 6, remove an object equipped to a hit character from it is the disintegration beam.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much.
Jay.
It's interesting because it gives you the precision strike, so it's not, in a lot of situations, taking the gamble is almost not even a risk because you're at least doing the 1 damage anyway.
Right.
And it doesn't even specify what kind of attack. So yeah, you just like always do it depending on how good the equipment is, probably. And also just just having Precision Strike is especially relevant because we were just talking about Black Panther, and in them super senses is a thing. So
how would that interact with an attack that deals no damage, like Incapacitate or Mind Control? Would you still somehow deal damage, like instead of normal damage, even though there isn't normal damage?
I believe you can only do one thing instead of normal damage, but my question is, can you do that to begin with? Like, can you activate this on
That's a
that?
good point.
This is one that gives me a headache. I don't know.
It's worth looking into because
instead of normal damage, and then I don't have my pack on.
I'm not worried because this isn't going to be illegal for like 4 months. So
right, but
I'm not worried right for a second.
I think it's interesting for things like the Skull, for example, who's such a mind control master anywhere on the map, and stuff like that. So,
all right, Emily.
It's nice that they at least did something that we can potentially get some of all these equipments that we have off of people. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is definitely one I'm going to be using.
Yeah, it's really good.
As long as I have the same success rate with this that I had with the disintegration beam, let me tell you. all the complaints I have about hitting attacks or missing attacks, disintegration beam's going to take that all away. All right, next up. The Spin Ring, formerly the
Vortex.
Doesn't matter what it used to be. It did something similar. As this one gives telekinesis, free. Choose a character within 3 squares of line of fire. Place that character in an adjacent square.
It's an interesting way of putting it.
I don't actually know how this one works either because the wording is really weird.
Okay, well, you place that character in an adjacent square. I figured that's adjacent to where the character is.
Right. But you also
Kinda
can't be adjacent to yourself. So the question is, can you do it to yourself?
Choose a character within 3 squares. You're within 3 squares. Place a character within each. I don't see why not. You can teach.
Yeah, why wouldn't
you can't be adjacent to yourself? How can you place them adjacent? You can't place yourself adjacent to yourself.
Exactly my point. Place that character in an adjacent square to yourself.
Right.
Why does that not work?
Because it's obviously adjacent to the target.
But is it adjacent? I don't know.
Place the character in an adjacent square to the target is my assumption.
That's funny because my assumption was the opposite. I assumed it meant an adjacent square to you.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Phrasing.
If you can do this to yourself, this is really broken. Like the
why
check is crazy.
I'm glad that shredders are rotating. Oh,
God. That's just what they need to be able to sidestep, place adjacent, and then just move. Oh God.
Yeah, I'm glad shredders are rotating.
Yeah. All right, Tom.
I think it's very good. I'm confused about why Jay you say it would be really broken if you could use it to move yourself 1 square. Like, why is that broken?
Just being able to never have to break away. I don't know. It seems really good.
Like it's good. I just don't know about like crazy broken. That's all. Anyway, I still think it's really good, even if that is how it works.
Honestly, both ways of it working is amazing.
TK is one of those powers that you always kind of want, and like if you don't want to go pick a power styles, then this is a nice other way of doing it.
And like even if you can get the kind of double effect of the TK on it if you're kind of limited in a line of fire, like you're stuck in the office or the underground cavern and you kind of got stuck in a choke point. The extra 1 square could go a long way towards where you need to be. That sort of situation. Just overall, I really like everything about this ring. A lot of these rings are really good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, being able to place an opposing character, no rolling, no nothing, could set up a lot of plays. Just being able to without any other effects, just being able to place them adjacent, and then being able to call in a penetrating poison and just get guaranteed damage essentially.
Just pulling away the mastermind pieces, it's that's
this is extremely relevant.
Actually, I'm now officially hoping that it is the way Jay read it correctly, and that they become adjacent to the character using the ability.
Well, that's the problem. It's kind of vague. Adjacent to what?
Yeah, it does need to be clarified for sure.
That there's some clarification needed on that. But if it's adjacent to the character using it, how many people are you going to hear scream "Come over here" in their best Scorpion impressions?
Yeah, I mean they're already so close, but yeah.
Yeah, but you're just that close still. Every square is so powerful in this game if you're really getting to like proper movement and far game tactics, that kind of situation. Anyway, that's it. That is all of them. Holy smokes.
Yeah, that was a long one.
That was a long one indeed. That was a lot to take in. Overall, though, what are you thinking, Tom? How are you liking these con exclusives?
I think they're great. I love the way that special objects are everywhere. I think they're more balanced than resources were, but I love the variety, and I think the figures are really cool. They all look cool, so there's none of these that you'll be holding in your hand and feeling that disappointed by, except maybe like Lilandra or something. But you buy her, so it doesn't matter. Or wait, do you win her? I don't know. The point is, they'll look cool. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. They all look cool. They all have their functionalities. None of them seem like cray broken, but I think there are several playable pieces, so that's great.
You win Lilandra.
Okay. Yeah,
all right,
that's fine.
Jay.
I mean, do you even call that winning?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting that the playable stuff isn't the winnable, at least of what we've seen so far. I like that there's enough playable figures to make it all worthwhile. Like Doop is very playable, I think, although I will admit there is bias there.
No, I think you're right. I think he's the most playable.
This is not just bias, and I had to think about it myself too. There's no bias. He's good.
Yeah, sure.
Everything here is either competitively playable, really, really, really good, or just fun and casual, or both. Like Doop is absolutely both. So,
all right,
big thumbs up.
Emily?
As a not comic book person, I do love the Doop, so it's definitely not a.
Yeah, not a bias.
And I'm excited for all the rings. So I really like equipment a lot.
Even if you're not a comic book fan, it looks like Slimer on a motorcycle with a tiger. You gotta have Ghostbusters in your life at some point, right?
Right.
Yep.
All right. But yes, I'm super excited for just about everything. I'm gonna buy all the buyables as I usually do. Hope that I get all the Mandarin rings, and hope that I can pull off enough to just kind of at least squeak out one of each of the winnables. I do notice that there's a smaller number of the winnables, but that's because I believe WKO pricing gets added into the pool of all this winnable figures, right, Jay?
Well, they only said this is the stuff that's showing up for the first time.
Yeah.
Although, depending on how nationals in the non-American variety go, like we already know when UK Nats is and it's before Origins. I don't know, but we'll see soon enough. They have to confirm all these nationals sooner than later.
Yeah,
I was going to say I look forward to getting a bunch of the rings so that I can play them with Black Talon, and when people ask me why, I'll just let them figure out the pun. Work on it. You'll get there.
Thank you so much.
The things we can't say on the air. Anyway, carry on.
You're so bad. You're so bad.
Why?
Moving on.
Guys, if you're thinking about it still, Black Talon's dressed like a chicken. That's all you get. All right, guys. Before we move to questions, I want to remind everybody to check us out at patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. Emily is actually one of our long-standing patrons, and I'm happy to have her on the show. I should probably give her a month off of Patreon for this one. Or double tokens or something. I'll figure something out. Right. Something beautiful for Emily. Like an extra hug when I see her on this weekend.
The big winner.
That's the best payment ever.
There we go. Hugs. Yes. All right.
Yes.
So before we get into Patreon, check us out, patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. If you want to help support us with your wallets, that's up to you. We do appreciate you watching as well. The ads are there. If you're on YouTube Red, appreciate you even more because we get a little bit extra from that one, guys. So check that out. With that said, we're going to move to the questions, as it were. We're going to start in the Discord, double check if anything showed up on the Facebook, and go from there. The first question we got in the Discord, though, I'm not going to give this to the panel. I'm just going to address this in the safest possible way because internet drama occurred in HeroClix. So I will address the question directly. It came from Drew Warren, and his actual question was, how do y'all feel about the current Clickstraversy? I do my best to avoid controversy when it comes to the game of HeroClix. It's a game. It is when it comes to even the competitive play is the most casual of environments of competitive play that should exist. Now, granted, we get intense about competitive play, and sometimes you take a bad beat and you feel bad about it. My best advice to the internet world and the HeroClix world when a situation like this occurs, you're feeling bad. Don't take it out on your opponent. Don't take it out on the game. Bad beats happen. You get a little rough about it. Just kind of take a deep breath after the game. Extend your hand. Shake your opponent's hand. That's it. Just kind of accept that. All right? Do not go to the internet as well if your opponent is pretty sour about a loss and attempt to put them on blast, as it were. You got to be careful with these sort of situations. In the current environment that we live in, the internet adds anonymity, adds distance, adds space. Be playful with each other, but don't go out on the public forums and start trying to directly smack talk somebody. Be polite, guys. This is one of the reasons this is the best competitive environments in the world. Is there's no money on the line. There's no big stakes, as it were. We are all here to literally just have something to say that, I'm the HeroClix world champion. I made a figure. I got a bunch of stuff for it. That's really what you get. So let's be nice to each other, guys. The most Canadian answer possible.
Sure.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's anything to add to the be polite world, guys. Feel free, Tom.
I don't even know what you're talking about because I avoid the internet. So
yeah, Tom is wonderful in the fact that he gets to avoid social media because he doesn't run this HeroClix channel and is required to be on some level of social media so as to share the information, whether it be late or not. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I also don't really care about any story that begins with somebody being butthurt about something else, which is what this sounds like. So moving on.
Honestly, when it comes down to it, just be nice to each other in this game and don't exasperate situations by going loud on the internet. Jay?
I am going to completely pretend that I don't know what you're talking about.
Emily, you good?
It's a game. Have fun. Keep it friendly.
There we go. Emily's the best when it comes to the bad beat, too. I've seen her take some of the worst beats. I killed her with fish in one game, and she was laughing with me. Emily was the first victim of my Aquaman fish.
She's a model HeroClix player.
That was so fun.
Because I even lost. Okay, hold on. How many fish do I have? Which ones have taken actions? What's going on? Fish. Okay. I think I brought out those fish twice. Once was against you and once against Kyle Gilmore. All right. Next up, Matthew in the Discord. Of all the previews from Nationals, Buyables, Winnables, which do you guys think have the most potential for competitive play? My money's on the Spin Mandarin Ring, TK for 5 as a definite because, well, TK for 5 points, and things like Prime Vulture exist, LOL. Right, Emily? Things like Prime Vulture exist.
Just a little bit.
I know Lobo Stop Click is awesome, but I actually think Doop is more viable. 60 points for 8 clicks of life is really, really good. Top that with 2 stop clicks and being able to trigger free attacks from Wolverine and Psyche is pretty freaking sweet. He has limited mobility, sure. But nothing is a Beetle Pod can't fix since he's definitely a figure you want to have extra speed anyway. I think we also sang the praises of Doop on this episode. Tom?
Doop, Nightbringer. Yeah. That's my favorite of the objects and the figures, respectively.
Jay?
I mean, I think the most relevant object is the stealth one. I can't remember what it's called yet.
That was Nightbringer.
Yeah, Nightbringer.
Okay, and yeah, I mean, Doop is very playable in addition to every other bit of appeal that he has. I think Doop is just a perfect overall piece. Casual, competitive, good sculpt, obscure character. That's a good place to put a con. Just Doop in every possible way is the best.
Emily?
Yeah, completely agreeing. Stealth and Doop.
Yep.
I'm trying to pull them back up because what was my new? There it is. I got it. Never mind. I love Google Chrome for being able to re-grab my windows. Spectral. Spectral is my ring. Dupe is my character.
Cool.
I like the ability of adding precision strike because enough people roll those 5s on super senses against me. I'm sick of it. Plus, I don't play enough objects. I'd rather just be able to kill them if that's how I'm bringing an object into the game at this point. I just don't play the teams that use the objects too frequently. I think I've used one once, and that was the Venom Harness. And it's not like I hate objects. I just don't build with them. That's just kind of a thing. I actually kind of like the new approach where you have to do some work to get the objects on you, unless you're a specific character. So, yeah. So overall, I think Doop is the consensus dude, as it were. The Doop dude. Slimer on a motorcycle, guys.
I just want to. I love the fact that you can equip him, if only on principle of the fact that he's basically the. I mean, not the reason, but he's one of the reasons why that even got changed in the first place. So, Doop on a motorcycle because he is considered to be normal size because of the motorcycle. Why not?
All right. We're going to check on Facebook to see if anything showed up when I wasn't looking, but I don't believe anything happened on the Facebook posts. If you're following us, check us out at facebook.com/marriedwithclicks, and just kind of give us a follow. We do post a questions thread earlier in the day, and open it up for your questions. Also, Amber put out a call. We're serious. We're looking for American Girl Guide cookies because you guys won the Girl Guide cookie war as far as options. I went through them this year. There's like 2 different types of s'mores, lemon cookies, the very loved Samoas, which are like caramel cookies. They kill it on the Girl Guide cookies down there. And we're super jealous. So Amber wants to see if she can get her hands on some of the American ones that you guys have. Oh, this is okay. So it looks like we did. Oh, come on, guys! Really, would I say this? April Fool's jokes. Come on, Brian Tarowski. He asked if this was really going to be live. Like, no, it's not. This is in fact NVIDIA Rob currently running through the game launcher. Video game fans will know those April Fool's jokes. All right, so nothing happened on Facebook as we move to the chat. Lucian Carter, unfortunately, has some bad news. The Peterborough tournament didn't go so well. Only 4 players overall. It's still good considering, I don't know, the noise that was made about it. I don't know how the Peterborough area is for clicks, and we did try to get some of the voices out there. So we did our best. We had last second attempt.
I mean, at least it was an even number. It's better than 3.
Yeah. And then also wants to remind us that apparently Dueling Grounds, an old stomping ground in the Toronto area, is now in Peterborough. And Grey Guardian Games are both playing HeroClix. So if you're in the Peterborough area, check that out. I know you guys tend to vehicle a little bit more than me, so check them out as well.
I've been to the Dueling Grounds in Peterborough before. It's where I got my first Dormammu.
Oh, nice.
I have not as of yet. I didn't really pay attention, but I did hear they were doing things the same. So yeah, maybe eventually.
Emily, grab a ride with one of these guys.
Yeah, I'm in for carpooling always.
Don't let my isolationist life deflect from. Oh my god, I'm so bad at being able to get out lately.
You're coming with us on the weekend.
Yeah, I know, and when was the last time I've been to a tournament since then? I don't even get out the warehouse these days. It's sad. What do you mean, Doop is? Oh, jeez. All right. Nolan Lake is out there saying, with the introduction of the Doop Tiger figure, could we see a return of the animal keyword to the meta? What figures would you include on your Doop? Yeah.
Tribbles.
Doop and Tribbles?
So many of them. And Lockjaw. Like Doop, Tribbles, Lockjaw, build from there.
Yeah. You got there's your start. Go from there.
Yeah, if you play 3 Tribbles, you're only at 150 plus 5. Like that's wow.
Like I've long wanted, because of the whole theme chase, and everybody trying to get their theme teams and all the giant girls and everything. Like all I've wanted is to find a playable animal team that could get a plus 25 or something and guarantee it. I don't care if half my team is Tribbles. It wouldn't win, but I sure would win map. But I think it's very viable because as long as you've got those Tribbles there to help out your map rolls, and Jay mentioned earlier, King Shark is also cool for trying to get the bonuses. So that's another route you could take with it, and we'll see what comes out.
Yeah, Jay.
Yeah, there's a lot of good animal stuff. I mean, the whales. I don't know if you play the 50-point whales in this build, but so like I said, probably with the Gert and Old Lace from Secret Wars because it's just so good for the points. Nothing else really from the DC. Nothing really DC. Only those 8 Pogs counted for theme. I'm just looking right now.
I'm looking at modern animals as well.
Huh?
I'm looking at modern animals as well on
I wish Throg was 50 points because being 45 kind of just sucks. Doesn't do anything. Cosmo is good, but I still think he's a bit fringy, even with the 19 defense and whatever. But like, yeah, Lockjaw, Dupe, Cosmo,
Thanos.
triple filler, very high map roll bonus. You get a bunch of ID cards. You could probably, I don't know if it's good these days to max out your ID cards at 9 because you want options for a lot of them.
But, Nothing. I was just saying, the 30-point Gertrude York and Old Lace, their animal keyword. I don't. It's 30 points.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Wait, how does that work with Thanos? Could you just like carry tribbles across, put them down, like create another tribbles, KO one of them, give Thanos a token?
Well, only 5 points, not 25.
The hard part of
25.
The hard part of carrying tribbles too is that they'll also subtract your movement when they start adjacent to you. So
wow, it doesn't.
You'll get the minus for carrying plus a minus. You'll get a -3.
It was a 25-point thing that I was forgetting about. So.
Yeah. All right, Emily.
Yeah, I think you guys listed them. I don't.
Yep.
Yeah, we did list a bunch.
A whole bunch. Yeah, Lockjaw for sure.
Titano.
Hey man, that means that animal does have retaliators.
Yes, they're called whales.
Exactly. And you don't play them on the retaliation die.
No, they're not that.
Later.
They're really not that great on them.
Honestly, I think the whales are tough enough, and this team is super like forward aggressive. I don't think the whales are a bad ad.
Yeah, there's definitely room for the whales, especially if you don't want to play Gert and you want leadership sort of thing.
They're missing something, but it'll come around soon enough. Don't worry. Always have faith in HeroClix. They will provide.
Yeah. Of course,
so many of these animals that I want to run are retiring. Like, he's the Pat Hound's going. Why?
The most important animal is still is still here, and that's Stegron.
Alyosha has been retired for a very long time. You'll have to get over it. But
really, has he been retired for a long time? Have I been talking about how he's been retired for a long time? I'm asking for like the first reprint in HeroClix for like a month.
You and Easton will never.
Wait, but Doop isn't unique, so just do 2 Dupes and Lockjaw and a pile of tribbles.
Ew! I don't want to break high lane.
By the way, I'm calling a team with 2 Dupes Doop.
Oh.
I laugh at my own jokes. That's all.
I'm down with it.
Want to play the Doop troop?
Double Doop. Doop.
He's double duping.
you can't do that to the chip ball. You can't double dupe. It's like putting your whole mouth in the bowl.
Oh.
Honestly, for as much information, there's not a lot of questions going on. Devin does ask, why is a retaliation that bad situational and a power action?
He's right. Is that our Devin?
That's our Devin. And I'm pretty sure that's a rhetorical question. Because I am not a game designer for WizKids in spite of how much advice I have for them.
If anything, I feel like it was probably an add-on after they already made the casual die. They were like, oh, maybe it'll make it competitive, Yeah.
Anyway, so ultimately the excitement is in 3 months, this Doop is going to be out there. And then a month after he shows up, he might be legal. And then around that same time, a lot of really good animals are going aside. So there is some animals in Rebirth. None of them super amaze balls. I mean, there's Beast Boy. He's an animal. There's a couple that made me go, huh? Things that make you go, huh? But nothing super awesome.
Oh my god, what if Bumblebee is good and has the keyword? That'd be so cool.
Yeah, she would be an animal.
Oh my god.
Just taking a quick glance again, just to be sure. This is the most interesting thing. I'm going through the Rebirth cards from our unboxing. If you hope you got.
I'm looking through the evidence, right? I'm not really seeing anything that interesting.
Yeah, nothing that exciting. I apologize for misleading everybody. I was more excited about the scientists in this set and the robots to try to work around. Yeah, I'm boring. Sorry, guys. All right. You know what? I'm just extending time that we don't need to extend anymore because we're done. That said, Tom, is there anything you want to say before we go?
Not offhand. I was just doing some quick math here. I'm pretty sure that you could do Lockjaw, 2 Dupes, a Gert and Old Lace, 7 Tribbles, so that's a plus 11 theme.
Cool.
And you've got 40 points of 11 ID cards between students and regulars. That's what I'm playing.
Oh my god.
Where are you going to get that many Tribbles?
Yes, if only I knew. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Very exciting day for HeroClix. Also, congratulations, Emily. Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tom, we're going to have some negotiations, long-term negotiations on the triples, that's for sure. Jay?
Triples are fun, apparently, and congrats to Emily.
All right.
Yeah.
Emily?
Thank you for having me and letting me share my exciting little win story there. So it was fun. It was fun.
Thank you for making This Week in HeroClix actually interesting, because that would have been a stretch at best this week for us. I want to thank Tom, Jay, and Emily for joining me on the show today. It was exciting to share this stuff with you. And thank you guys for watching live or watching in the archives. Really appreciate all the support for the channel. Thank you guys for watching last week's unboxing. It was a pleasure to do. And once again, thanks to WizKids for providing us with that. It's a wonderful chance to get an early look and share that with everybody out there on the interwebs.
Wait, I have it.
What?
I needed the extra time to do the extra math. So here it is. It's a little revised. It's Lockjaw, 2 dupes, Gert and Old Lace, 6 tribbles. That's a +10 theme. You've got 10 ID cards, 5 students, 5 regulars, and a location bonus.
Was the 10 IDs a joke?
He's got 10
Is that
characters.
not allowed? Oh, I guess you're right. I can't do
You literally
10.
cannot have 10. Or...
Okay,
yeah,
fine.
You can only have 9 sideline characters.
Fine. 9 then, and a
One
location
more
bonus and a special ID, special object or trait.
Obviously, Wakanda. No question.
Yes, Wakanda and a special trait for fun.
All right. With that said, on that awkward note, thanks, Tom, for doing the math on that one. Once again, guys, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you, Finn Balor, for being awesome. And I want to thank our sponsors over at MajesticCCG.com/MadeWithClicks. $3 a month, the Apex Insiders. It's MajesticCCG.com/Apex-Insiders. Will get you access to brain dumps from some of the greats in the game of HeroClix. If you want to become good at HeroClix in the metagame, $3 a month, it's worth it. If you want to really just dive into competitive and see what the players that are really good are thinking, because they use world champions, national champions, HeroClix champions, really just kind of give you their brain dumps on that part of the site. As well, you get nonsense from myself talking about my everyman format and my high level view of or image of what my plan was for that, as that kind of progresses through the years. And Jay is a regular contributor as well with his Fringe articles, and those are also awesome. Giving your brain a chance to think about a figure you're not normally thinking about. As well, the show is also brought to you by Edward Sheldon's HeroClix coaching services. States and provincials are just around the corner, literally like this weekend and next week. Do you need an extra edge that your local playgroup can't offer? Edward offers a wide array of services to help in helping you refine your play style, tactical coaching, and even offers practice games. His fees start as low as $15 an hour, and some of the proceeds go to help support this show. Contact him at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com with promo code, capital letters, married with clicks, to get started today. We put the link in the description below. And Edward is, if you don't have a local play group, Edward is one of many great ways to get practice, because, ladies and gentlemen, practice will make your team better. Have a good night, everybody.